All right, regional sports networks, biggest story of the year. I had Ohtani's free agency as number one. I moved it to number two. The Diamond Sports Group and its bankruptcy and what it was going to do to teams and when it was going to do it was always going to be a big story. Yesterday, we had our second update. There's been many updates. So the way it works is when you file for Chapter 11, bankruptcy protection reorganization, there's a judge, and your job as the company who's basically out of money, you have cash, but you have more liabilities than you have assets. So not all bankrupt people, you can still go grocery shopping. So I don't like it when people say, oh, he's bankrupt. How can he afford chewing gum? Bankrupt means that you owe people more than you have. So if you settled up all of your debts or paid all of your liabilities or everything that you owed, you would not have enough, and then you couldn't buy the chewing gum. So instead of not buying the chewing gum, instead you decide to not pay the people you owe. And in order to be allowed to do that, you have to file for bankruptcy. And then you get to say to a judge, I need my chewing gum. I can't pay the rights fees to the Diamondbacks because it's a crappy deal that we signed. When we signed it, we thought, hey, this is awesome. The world's changed, and I still want to keep my money to buy chewing gum. The Arizona Diamondbacks are a team that is in first place, overperforming. And I tell you again, it don't matter. The reason it doesn't matter is that what Diamond Sports Group is doing is they're going to judges, the judge, and they're saying, we would like, if you don't mind, Your Honor, Chris Lopez, we would like to reject and have you reject our broadcast agreement with the Diamondbacks. That deal is unnecessary and burdensome. I love that. It is unnecessary and burdensome to them, but not to the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, it's totally necessary and actually a pleasure, not a burden. They, in a motion to the bankruptcy judge saying, let us out of this deal. And MLB will stand in the background. And again, they'll take over production. Fans will get to watch the games. No problem. They did it with the Padres. They're taking a victory lap, how good it looks. They're promising the owner of the Padres and the owner of the Diamondbacks, we'll get you back to 80% of what your deal was. Way to go. They didn't tell me how many years they would do that. But for this year, we'll get you to 80% of what you were expected to get. But if next year we only get you to 60%, you better lower your payroll. This is better than the debt service rule to get payrolls down. Hell yeah. So they said to the judge, the rights fees payment under the Diamondbacks agreement totals tens of millions of dollars annually and increases yearly. That's true. Every deal I've negotiated with the TV company, we always had an increase annually because we knew that we wanted payrolls to go up, so we needed our revenue to go up. Unfortunately, Diamond Sports Group, this is a quote, lose significant sums on the Diamondbacks agreement. In all my meetings with Cablevision and then Fox, there's one thing that I know for sure. I don't know much, but I know I love you. They were not losing money. Maybe I'll ask John Skipper that. How many rights fees did you do, John, where you lost money? Well, David, I'm not going to say that specifically. What I will say is that ESPN was profitable. Well, thank you. I'm quite aware of that. And that means that every deal you did likely was just a different level of profitable. Certainly your deal with the Marlins was. He didn't do a deal with the Marlins, but you get my drift, don't you? So basically what the judge says when he looks at the deal and he looks at the revenue of Diamond Sports Group in Arizona, he looks at the number of cable subscribers in Arizona that used to exist and the amount of money that was coming into that regional network versus the amount of money that's going out of the regional network in the form of rights fees and production costs, and says, wow, this deal blows. We are going to let it go. They don't want it. The only one who wants it are the people who actually signed it. Yeah, the Diamondbacks don't want the deal to go away, but the judge doesn't care. In a bankruptcy organization, he doesn't really care about the people who are owed money. He cares about getting on to the next, making sure that the company can reorganize and find a path forward to reprofitability, and then he can go on to his next file. So when you can argue that the current costs that are associated with performing a deal are outweighing the revenues, then you get to say to the judge, hey, all the debtors who we owe money to, they wouldn't want us to have this Diamondbacks deal. Because every day we have the Diamondbacks deal, we lose $1. And that's $1 that we could use to pay back all the people who we owe money to. Because don't forget, this whole thing happened because Diamond Sports Crew borrowed billions of dollars to buy all these regional sports networks. And the people who lent them the money, they want their money back. So they're waiting in the background as debtors. And they're saying, get rid of that Diamondbacks deal, because if you're spending an extra $1 in losses to show the Diamondbacks, stop showing them and give me that $1. So, what do you think's going to happen? You think the judge will decide and enforce the deal? Nope. The Diamondbacks are going to be let go. MLB will take over production, and that'll be 2 teams they'll own the streaming rights to. 2 teams in the West competing on the field, despondent off the field.